Hit it.
Well, it's a beautiful day out here in central Illinois. It's end of August. It's about 82 degrees. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pretty low humidity. So it's a nice day to go clear some murals. What I'm going to be using today is an automotive 2-part urethane clear. And I'm going to be going over some of the murals that were painted at the Pontiac Bulldog meet. This afternoon I'm going to do Francisco Vargas's mural painted with one shot. One shot has been allowed to cure for 2 years, so it'll be no problem at all. First thing, I got some of the equipment I'm going to be using. Since I don't like to paint off of ladders if I don't have to, and this is a metal sign. I brought my long handle roller extension. I've got a short nap, good quality roller cover, 9-inch frame. Got a throwaway pan, stir stick. I've got my urethane reducer. This is a 1 part to 4, 1 part hardener, 4 parts clear. This happens to be Pittsburgh shop line. I've got a container here that's got measured increments, so I can measure the 1 part to 4. And if I wanted to make a little bit extra, I've got some plastic cups. This one here is solvent resistant. It's 5 ounce. These are medicine cups that have increments on them to help measure the clear. First thing I do is I take the roller cover, and even though it's just come out of the package, I want to get rid of any little extra fuzzies on it, so I just take the air chuck and make sure all the prepackaged fuzzies are out of there. You can also use a brush and roller cleaner that's got the little sling handle on it. Those are good. Some people will take and wash them down first and then spin them out dry, but I found this is good enough. I've also got a little spritz bottle here with some urethane reducer. This is simply an old used rubbing alcohol container and a regular spray apparatus hooked onto that. And I put just a little bit of reducer in here. The reason being is usually the solvents will break the inner parts of this down, so don't use your very best sprayer for that, one that you can throw away. And the reason I use this is that one of the problems with the reducer is as you're rolling, you're trying to roll the bubbles out, and I'll show you later when I'm actually in the procedure what you've got to contend with. But if there are some little tiny bubbles left over, you can simply spray a little atomizer on there and they're gone. So I'm going to be going downtown to do this, and I'll see you after a bit. Okay. Well, the first thing you do when you get to the mural is you look it over. Here I've got some spider webs to clean off, a couple bird droppings. As you clear over all that, and they're in the clear. I want to point out to you, there's already some significant fading with the one shot. This is 2 years old, but this is what I've been finding with the one-shot murals is some of the colors are starting to fade out pretty good, much more so than the ones that were painted with Nova. I'm a little surprised at this one because it faces north, but in any event, the clear coat will help it out.
Go.
Here's the other side of the same mural. And this one over here, this side was painted with Nova. Look at that bright red on her lip. This looks like the day it was done. So I think what we're witnessing is different paint technologies have different results. I am going to clear over this one, but it looks pretty much like the day we finished it. I painted this one a couple weeks after the wall dogs were here. So I'm going to mix up my clear and get going. This mural is 240 square feet. So I've been getting about 400 square feet per gallon. So this is going to take a little more than half a gallon. This pail will hold a half a gallon, and I'll just put a little bit more in there. But if you run low in the middle of the job, you can always add a little bit if you see you're going to run low. That's why I brought those other cups. Now this gallon is running low, and I've got another one ready to go. The clear is relatively expensive. I think the clear ran around $200 a gallon, and then the activator or the hardener, catalyst, whatever you call it, is right around $50, so it's not cheap. But it should go 10 years. Now I would not recommend putting this on block or brick or any surface, masonry surface, that you may want to allow to breathe. For a clear like that, you'd use either Urethanes Aquatane, or another clear is this Clear Shield, which I've been putting on our block and brick murals. I am going to use some of that Aquatane to see the difference in the results. But those are clears that have to be redone every 3 to 5 years. So I'm pretty close to the 48 ounce mark now. And since this is 1 part to 4, then the rest of it will get catalyst. Now you probably noticed that I've got these screws in here. I found with urethane products, whether you put a sheet metal screw like that in, or whether you put a wood owl or whatever you put in those things, I think it's better to do that than to take the lids off. I never take the lids off, because once you do that and you expose them to the air, I think they have a tendency to go bad. So I like to put those screws in there, and I leave them in there. And for my lettering and pinstriping urethane that I use, I do the same thing, and that way I can use the catalyst until it's totally done. The problem with the urethanes is when you roll them, and one of the reasons why you don't want to use a foam roller cover is, number one, the cover itself usually will disintegrate before the job's over, and number two, you don't pull out the bubbles as well with the foam roller cover as you do the smooth roller covers, like I showed you. You want to try to minimize the bubbles all you can, and you do that by re-rolling, and I'll demonstrate that when I'm in the process of rolling. I've also, since this mural has got a frame around it, I need to get near the edge. I'm going to be using a pad applicator. These are good for putting on these types of clears too, and this will go right up into the edges where the roller can't go. got the pad applicator up here now. I'm going around the edges with this before I start rolling. Nice little tool. You can see how smooth it's putting it on. Absolutely no bubbles. You also notice I'm wearing rubber gloves. You're working with urethanes, and the hardener is very, very, very caustic to your system. So you want to make sure you wear rubber gloves to keep it off your skin. I have big hands, so I have to get the large gloves. They're kind of hard to find, but they're out there. They try to make one size fits all. And of course, if you're indoors, you may want to use a respirator. Also want to have some paint strain filters around so that when you are working out in a wooded area or someplace where there's leaves, and get some into your clear, you can strain it back into an extra container and then get rid of them. Now I generally play this, I feel out the situation. Since I'm not right in the sun, I can work this a little longer. And I'm using a catalyst that is, they call extra slow dry, to just give me every bit as long a window as possible to work with this. Now if I was going on the sun side, I could probably only go half this way, this far. But at this point, I'm creating quite a few bubbles, but the idea now is to just get the area covered, completely and totally covered. Roll it out real good. Now that I've rolled that amount, and like I say, on the sun side, probably half that amount, now I need to re-roll, starting at the beginning, with no pressure on the roller whatsoever. I'm just letting the roller do all the work. And I want to keep going back towards the direction I started, re-rolling it with no pressure until I start getting little cobwebs. And you'll see what they are and know what I'm talking about. But once they appear, you're done. Do not go back over that area again. But you actually want to get those cobwebs, because that's at the point when you are actually getting rid of every single bubble there is. Now it's starting to pull on me a little bit. The urethane's getting real sticky. I'll see if I can get some cobwebs. I don't know if they'll show up on a video or not. There you see them stringing off. Whether you can see them against the sky or not. When they string out, I'm just letting the roller do all the work. Keep just a fingertip on the roller. No pressure whatsoever. Now that area there isn't cobwebbing yet, so I'll come back at that and I'll wet some other areas. Once you start rolling, you can't stop to answer the phone or go get a sandwich or whatever. You gotta stay until you're done. This is not something that you can piddle with. You gotta keep on going. Now I'm going back to here to where my cobwebs stop. Can't overemphasize no pressure here. You will be able to see when those bubbles are disappearing. For lettering enamels, which are alkyd based, solvent based, they usually take a couple months to cure out. So I would not try to clear those with these solvents or these types of clears, urethane clears, until at least 2 months. These have waited 2 years. I could have gotten them within 6 months or so. I just kind of wanted to see how they were going to do on their own. I'm really glad that I started to clear them. Some of them, the colors were pretty close to being peeked through. No pressure at all, just roller, do everything. But with your acrylics like Nova, they can actually be cleared the very next day. And that's the technology I use on signs. I'll go back to where I started the cobweb. And there you see I'm getting cobwebs again. So I can't go back over that area. But I will show you something here in a second when I roll this out a little more. This will give you a real nice gentle orange peel. Very nice. I don't know if you can see those cobwebs go up into the sky or not in a video, but you'll be able to see them. Now, since a mural, you might have, if you got real close, you might be able to see just very little tiny air bubbles. And I'm not seeing any, but if there were some here and you want to get rid of them, just take your spritz bottle and hit it like that for a sign that you want to be real smooth. Or a spray gun with some urethane reducer and they'll pop right out. This one's turning out beautiful. Work wet in the wet, of course. Just like you'd roll your wall, you paint your bedroom. Just make sure it's all covered. Roll her out as smooth as you can. I don't know whether you can see those bubbles in the video or not, but there's a mass of them right now. And on the re-roll, those will all be gone. Takes a couple re-rolls. With each re-roll that you do, no pressure. The pressure is what pulls those bubbles up. You need the pressure to begin with just to get the thing covered. If I get this done soon enough, I may take the rest of the afternoon off and go fishing before tonight's football game. How about that? You folks that have wall dog meets in your town, the clearing of the murals ought to be a part of the cost of the job. In this town's case, they're using auction money for the maintenance of the murals. Now I'm going back into those areas that I needed to start with, pull up those cobwebs. There they go. You got to pay attention to where you are. Like I said, do not do this on masonry walls. This is metal panels here, aluminum clad panels I'm working on. Masonry walls need to be allowed to breathe. Recommend water-based clears. Well, I'm doing my final re-roll. You can see the cobwebs. You can't, they're definitely there. I plan to put this video on Letterville and Creative Sign Makers of America, for anybody interested in clear coating with automotive grade urethanes, which are the longest lasting clears that you can get. Meant for spraying, but as you can see, it can be rolled. They can be rolled on just about any paint surface that's cured out, whether it be lettering enamel or acrylics. You can clear over acrylics the day after. Lettering enamel, you want to make sure that the surface is cured out. I would give it a couple months. I have several signs that we've done both ways that have been cleared, and the results have been excellent. I'm getting 10 years or more out of these, and I hope you do too. Thank you.